right. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you guys are all having a wonderful, wonderful morning. Gonna wait about a minute here and get started. Sam, good morning. Let me post these tweets out. Send now. Perfect. Jamarcus, good morning. Nancy, good morning. Don, my man, good morning. How you doing? CMO, good morning. Daniel, good morning. Edgar, good morning. Ion, what's going on, man? Good morning, good morning. All right. It is 8:30 here. Let's take a quick look at the jobless report numbers while we wait for everyone to kind of tune in here. We'll wait till 8:35 and get things kind of popping. Let's see, initial jobless claims. All right, so the continuous jobless claims 1384 versus the forecasted 1400. Jobless claims, however, was up a little bit higher, 200K versus the forecasted 182. So let's take a look how the market's reacting to that. Not much movement right now, but we'll see how things kind of pan out. Sky, good morning. What's going on, my man? Eric Evans, what's poppin'? Nathan Bard, how you doing? Trading Grounds, what's going on, man? How you doing? Diana, good morning. All right, guys, we'll wait about 4 more minutes here. Let everyone kind of tune in, and then we'll get popping. We'll keep an eye on the SPY as things kind of go on to see if that jobless report number gets a reaction out of this market right now. And then we'll get popping. Rudra, good morning, good morning. All right, we got about 3 more minutes and then we can get started. We'll start off with the sector analysis. We'll go with the Qs, the SPY, and then we'll jump into kind of the free alerts that I posted, and then we'll get into some live Q&A of your favorite stock. And then we can kind of take it from there. Shopify down on ERs this morning here, hitting a key level, so we'll be watching that going into the open. Dog, good morning. Nancy, friendly reminder, smash that like button. Indeed. Mikhail, good afternoon. What's going on, man? What's going on? We got people from all over the world. Someone's just waking up. Someone's, it's their afternoon. Someone's nighttime. Beautiful thing about trading stocks, you can do it all over the world. All right. Let's see. All right, 2 more minutes. Foolish snowboarder, good morning, man. How you doing? I think you're traveling today, if I'm not mistaken. You want a train headed for Reno. Deepika, good morning. Steve, good morning. Awesome. Getting people slowly rolling in here. Got about another 1.5 minutes here to get going. If you guys are here, go ahead and smash that like button while we're waiting to kind of get started. We'll get things going here. All right. We'll wait about a minute more. Market didn't look like we reacted much initially off of those jobless report numbers. Still holding up those 426 levels here. We'll see how it acts going into the open though. Mehdi, good morning from Canada. Nice, man. All good. Oh, you're going from Reno to Chicago. Nice. Chicago crew, where you at? Alright guys, a few more seconds and we'll dive right in. Hopefully you guys are ready. Hopefully the screen's good, audio's good. And we'll get started here very shortly, about 30 seconds. Just kind of wait usually till 8:35 for everyone to tune in. And then we get things popping. Perfect. Virgo, hey there, let's learn and grow. Yes, sir, let's do it. All right, guys, it is 8:35. So I'm going to start off with the SPY. Then we'll get into the Qs and we'll discuss some of the key levels and key things I'm looking at for them. All right. So looking at the SPY here, you know, we knew that this level was going to be a level we're going to see some sort of, you know, buying support kind of stepping up. We also had these two levels from March 8th and March 14th that were levels that were respected quite a bit. However, we put in this nice hammer candle off of that 410 level here, and ever since then we kind of consolidated. Not yesterday, the day before, which was Monday. And yesterday, really, we didn't sell off too much until the FOMC meeting came up. And regardless, you know, after what was said, we got a strong rally. Okay, we got that rally, but look where we got the rally to. Right to this 20 moving average, right to this prior resistance at 429.70. And that's where we kind of went stagnant and kind of hit that resistance area near the end of the day. Still very strong close. You can see the average was above volume. The volume was above average, and you know we're kind of kissing this 429 level. All right. Now above this level, the last key support area was this 436.64. You can see we respected it multiple times, and once that level broke, is when we saw that kind of crack down and then sell off into this next area of support. Okay, so this right here, you can see we respected it multiple times before actually breaking down here and then coming down to these support areas right here. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Now, what we've established is a resistance point. We have a moving average resistance. We have another resistance we put in yesterday. We have this resistance right here. So this 429.70 is going to be a key level. And if you guys kind of, you know, followed me in the past, you know that we have essentially this little pocket that now we can get into and look to kind of push towards. All right. If we do enter that pocket and end up closing above this, the next area of resistance we could see the market move towards is that 436.64 area. Okay. Then that's going to be another congestion area. All right. For now, our first congestion area, our first resistance area is this 429.70. We need to clear that in order to get back into this area to start looking to retest that 436.64. Okay. Now I'm going to dive into the closer time frame. I'm going to put up my levels, and I want to talk about what I'm kind of paying attention to going into today. Give me 1 second. Sorry, this is missing pre-market hours, so give me 1 second. I gotta fix this. Perfect. So we'll go to the 15-minute. Awesome. So what I'm kind of keeping an eye on today is this 425.56. Okay. Now, why? Because simply we've kind of pushed up. We've rejected this level that I mentioned, that 429 level. We're kind of coming down, putting in a basing right here at this 425.56 level. That's going to be my pivot today. What I'm thinking here, what my game plan is, if we can maintain above this 425.50 level, great. We could look to try to retest these highs, and this is where it's going to get vital. If and only if we clear this area, then we're going to see even more buying pressure come in. The people who are net short start covering their short positions, and we could see those pushes back into those 431s, 433, 434 levels. Okay. Now, if we do lose this 425.56 level, we could see pullbacks towards this 422, 420 level. All right. Why? Because we simply had a very strong push up. You can see no real pullback here. Even if I go to the 2-minute or 5-minute time frame here and look at yesterday's price action, very fluid move up with not much consolidation, given right here around 422, maybe a little bit. So if we lose this 425.56, I will look to see if we can come back down towards that 422, 420 area. However, if we hold, push back up, we'll be looking at this 429 level again, break that, then I'm going to start really leaning bullish towards the 431, 433 levels. Okay, that's in regards to the SPY and kind of what I'm keeping an eye on. My pivot today again will be this 425.56 level. You guys are more than welcome to kind of screenshot these levels. My daily SPY chart looks like this, but as you kind of zoom in, you get better figures that you can pay attention to, and as you can see, they're almost always respected, whether what time I draw them, because they come from the daily time frames. A lot of them are respected pretty nicely, and I keep the SPY chart kind of like this at all times. I do clean it up once in a while to kind of take a look at it, like I did with you guys when I was showing it this morning, right? So that's something that you guys kind of can do as well. Constantly draw your levels. Eventually you'll have a chart that looks like mine, and you'll have lots of levels that you can base your trading off of. All right, so now going into the Qs, we have a very similar look. So take a look at this chart, and I'm going to flip back to the SPY, and I want you to take a look at this chart again, right? So take note of this support area, take note of this support area, and then this resistance area. Okay, now let's take a look at the Qs. It's very similar support, very similar support, very similar resistance, and that pocket I refer to is right here again. Okay, so very similar, pretty much almost a little bit of a mirror here. We're looking at this 330 level being equivalent to the 429.70 on the SPY. Okay, so this 330 level is going to be an area that I'm kind of focusing on here. Now the only difference here is that we don't have the 20 moving average kissing the price action as it was on the SPY. All right, nonetheless, that 330 level is going to be a key area, and then we enter a pocket with room to push that 337. All right, let's get into the closer time frames. Put my levels back up. Perfect. So what am I looking for in the QQQs? I'm looking for that 325.97. Why? Because we've had that sell-off, we put in a pivot here, we've bounced off of this 325.97. Again, this is a level that I had on my chart from time. It's not something I drew today, but look how well that was respected. So that's going to be my level going into today. Okay, if we're able to hold this 325.97 level, great. We could look to retest these 330 areas, and if and only if, again, we clear this level, then we can look for that 332, 334, 335 area on the upside. Okay, if we do roll over and we start seeing some profit taking from this big aggressive move, some people expecting a gap up and a higher move that didn't happen, we could see some profit taking take place, and that's fine. If we lose this 325.97, I do expect to fall to the 324, 322 area, and possibly that 320, which lines up with this congestion that we've kind of formed, or this old resistance, which is now support from the last few trading days. Okay, so again, on the Qs, the key thing I'm watching here is a 325.97. That's going to be my deciding factor, whether I'm going to go up or go down, depending on how well that price action gets respected out of the gates. All right, so those are the kind of two things I'm looking for in regards to the SPY and the Qs. Again, make sure you guys have your levels. I always have the Qs and the SPY on my charts, regardless of what I'm taking a look at. I always have two charts designated for the Qs and the SPY, so I can see what's going on. All right, now with that said, let me jump into the free alerts. All right, so for the free alerts, I got, first one is Roku. All right, Roku right here. Roku, we had that strong push. Lots of tickers, today look very similar. We have this strong push that kind of came as the market kind of rallied, and it held up in the after hours, and now all of them are gapping down very little bit in the morning here. So what I'm looking for on Roku is I really want to clear that 111 area. Okay, this high right here, this little resistance area that we've put in, I kind of want to clear this area of resistance at the 111 area, then we can look to kind of push it higher. Okay, If that does happen, great. We could see pushes towards the 115, 116 area, which will be fine. Okay, so that's the level I'm looking at to buy calls on Roku, is around that 111 area. If we go back under the 108 level, which is just a little bit of a support it's put in the pre-market, then I'm looking to kind of take advantage of the downside. Now, remember what I said in regards to the SPY and the Qs. Everything is kind of starting to look very similar. So if we lose this 108 level on Roku, chances are that the SPY is most likely going to yank and fall below this 425 level. They're going to be, I'm not saying Roku is going to move SPY, I'm saying SPY is going to be the one that's going to break this 425 level, and Roku will most likely follow suit and break this level as well. So a lot of things are looking very similar, and that's kind of what I'm focusing on, right? I combine everything together and ultimately make a decision that way. Facebook is the next one. With Facebook here, I wanted to see the 220 level break down. So we actually got that breakdown right now. I want to buy puts under 220. It looks like the 220 level broke here. And on the long side, if and only if this clears this 221.50 level, which is a little bit of a resistance it's putting in here in the pre-market, then we can kind of look to push towards yesterday's highs. All right. However, in the meantime, it is breaking that 220 level that I'm looking at. So what do you do in this regards? You really have to wait to see if the market's going to open up. Will we pop back up to that 220 and hold that area as resistance? Okay. If we pop back up to the 220 and kind of plow through it, well, then you really don't have a reason to get back into those puts, because we've broken that resistance back to the upside. But if you come back to it, let's say this is the 220 level right here, price action opens down here and pops up right here, and you start seeing that resistance kind of put in, you can try get into the puts there. You have good risk to reward, and then take that move to the downside. That is if we open below the trigger and pop back to retest that level. All right, that's in regards to Facebook. Next one is BA. Again, you can see that big push, very strong resistance being put in. This resistance actually comes from a daily level that I had drawn previously. So watching this 157.20 level, if this breaks, looking to buy calls. And if that 155.70 breaks to the downside, which I'm hoping we kind of consolidate before doing that at the market open, then great, we could see some selling taking place, and we could try to fall back towards that 153. Okay, now still after all these kind of months, a lot of people ask me, hey, how do I take these alerts? Do I wait for a 10-minute candle to close? Do I wait for a 15-minute candle to close? And to kind of answer that question, it's very, the way I do it is very easy. If it's within the first 5, 10, 15 minutes and price action is sitting very close to my trigger area, and we come up right here in the first 10 minutes and we break right here, is when I'm getting involved. I'm not waiting for a candle close. I'm not waiting for a retest. If it's within the first 5, 10 minutes, I'm getting involved, and I want to be able to take that aggressive volume move up and take advantage of that premium juice that takes place in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, right? We know that there's a resistance level. We know if that resistance level breaks, that's our trigger, and we're going to get that explosive move to the upside in the first 5, 10 minutes. That's where I want to get involved. All right. Now, if time has gone by, and let's say, it's been an hour and a half or 2 hours has gone by, price has constantly gone sideways and then slowly coming back up, now it's a different story. Now volume has slowed down. You don't have that strong aggressive volume out of the gates. What you want to happen here is you want this to break out, you want this to retest, and at the retest is when you want to get involved, right? You can get involved in the retest, then look to continue on the upside, okay? That's the second way you could do it after that. Now, the third way where a lot of people get into trouble is, just because we have a trigger point, all right, and price action is, for example, opens up and comes all the way down here, a lot of people get into trouble where they say, okay, price action has sold off, our upside triggers at 157. This price action strongly makes an aggressive move, right, from the bottom lows here from 153 all the way up to 157, and because the trigger took place, they get involved right here. okay, you got to always ask yourself, where was the stock? If the stock is sitting at around 153 and it's made a strong move to 157 and you're buying calls up here, what are the chances that this move is not going to get exhausted, it's not going to get tired, and it's going to continue to push to 160, 161, right? The chances of that are very slim. So you have to understand where are you, where the price is, and then establish if you're going to get in for a good risk to reward. Okay, so how would you do this if, for example, something like this did happen? So what you would have to do is you would have to wait for the price action to come up like it did, right? And here you want some sort of consolidation to take place. You need that flag formation right under this resistance. Then you can get involved and buy the calls right there and take it higher. But to take it blindly without any consolidation, you're putting yourself at a higher risk. Okay, so there's another lesson. I made a video on this before explaining it more in detail, but I kind of wanted to touch base on it just briefly here so you guys can kind of understand what's going on. But with that said, I'm going to jump into the chat here, see if you guys want me to go look at any tickers. And yeah, let me know what tickers you guys want me to take a look at. Are you looking to day trade it? Are you looking to swing trade it? And are you trying to buy calls or puts? The more information you give me, the better. And I can kind of take a look at it and go over the chart and tell you guys what I see on that specific ticker that you guys are talking about. All right, let's see. All right, so D-Dog call. Looks like someone's trying to buy D-Dog calls. Let's take a look at D-Dog's IV. IV's 350%. So with D-Dog here, it had earnings. Implied volatility is through the roof, simply because of the earnings numbers. Let's take a look at simply because there's earnings happening, and looking at the chart here, you really need to break this 123 level here. Okay, at that point you really have to be careful, because if you're wrong and the stock kind of consolidates and goes sideways, your IV is going to get crushed. And when the IV starts dropping down to that 100, 150 level, your premiums is going to tank regardless of whether you like it or not. So possibly, with such a high IV, I usually like to stay away from these type of trades, just because, even if you're not wrong and the stock moves up slowly, the IV crush can absolutely demolish you. Day trade on Tesla. Boy, a lot of people love this Tesla. So let's take a look. Tesla, nice little pop back up here. It's got room to push that 973 here. Let's see. Let's take a look at the closer time frame. All right. So again, with Tesla here, I would not get involved on anything on this one unless you get over the 955 level. If you get over that 955 level, you do have the opportunity to push that 973. And that's a big daily resistance area, which you're going to see selling pressure. Otherwise, if you try to get involved here, you might get stuck in some sort of chop, some sort of pulling, and so forth. However, if we do get back above that 955 breakout with good volume, you can look to buy calls and move it towards that 973 area on Tesla. On the downside, I really don't see much in it here. You have some moving averages. You need to get under 935. But then for a 6-point move to the downside, support is not really worth it. Over the 955 for a push to 973 is probably something that I would pay attention to. Coin. All right. So coin here is something that I've been watching the last few days. It's fighting this 114.60 level, which is a Fibonacci extension to the downside. It's getting some buying pressure. Let's take a look at the closer time frame. So again, very similar look, pop back up. This clear resistance area at 129 is still being a resistance that's been proven. We're back under it here now. I would wait to see if we can get back over the 129. If you get back over the 129, great. You could look for pushes towards the 130. Otherwise, I would look possibly for a sell-off and possible reversal patterns to present itself. I wouldn't buy puts on it. Maybe look for a sell-off back into this area of congestion around 125. then you can look for a reversal pattern, whether that's, you know, a double bottom or whatever the case may be, for a push back up to the high side. Swing NVIDIA to 250, 255 gap. Oops, I wrote swing. 255. That makes absolutely no sense. First of all, you're not gonna get there. Not now. I don't think the market's gonna be strong enough to push this back to 255. As a swing on NVIDIA, you really need to get back above the 205, and base. Above that, possibly you could look for a push towards the 213, 219, maybe that 225 area. But to go to 250, 255, you're kind of pushing your luck there. That's a very big swing for NVIDIA. I would wait. I don't think the market's ready for this type of swing that you're looking to get into. You're looking to buy a tech name. You're looking for the market to really rally to push you back up to this 255. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're still under a lot of the moving averages, and to buy a swing and expecting that big of a move is kind of unrealistic. Shorter term swings, possibly pops back to 213, 219, great. Otherwise, not that aggressive of a move. Shop for day trade and Google. Google, I'm not really a fan of today. I don't really like the pre-market chart. You know, unless it gets back over that 24.50 level. But Shop looks good. Shop had earnings. You know, it's starting to kind of put in a bear flag here. Under that 410 level on Shop is what I'm looking at. I'm interested on that. Under that, you could really open up and get some selling pressure. IV on Shop is not bad. It's around 100 right now, 110. So I will be watching this one under the 410 to see if it starts selling off a little bit. Google, not too much right now. I'm not a fan of that one. Tesla, we just talked about. What exactly is the purple pivot? Purple pivot is just a study that TOS has, that a few of the members are focusing on. That purple pivot is essentially the middle ground, the middle line of the stock's trading price for that day. Amazon day trade. Let's take a look at Amazon. Take a look at the daily. So the daily looks good. I mean, we had this buying pressure coming up at that 23.30 level. Ideally, I want to see Amazon get back above this 25.23 level. If you can clear those levels, then we could look for pushes into those pockets towards that 26.26. Right now, it's still very choppy. I wouldn't get involved. I really need to see the Amazon over 25.23 in order to push it back into this 26.26 area. To try to pick a direction here, your only bet here is to find a pattern, a cup and handle, a double bottom, a bull flag, something to get involved in. Otherwise, you need to break that 25.23 to get into that nice move to the upside. Amazon day trade, I think we just talked about that. Day trade on Tesla, we spoke about Tesla already. Lucid, nice pocket to the upside. Let's take a look at Lucid. Nice pockets. I mean, if you use that as your resistance point, yeah, it does have a nice pocket, but you have a moving average in the way here at 20.45. Clear that, then you could see possible moves up towards that 21.50 area. So you really need to get over this little resistance area, as well as that 20-day moving average sitting at around 20.43. Then you can look for those moves higher. So 20.43 is sitting right around here. Exactly where you see this rejection is where you're seeing that 20 moving average on the daily, right? So get above that, and then you could possibly look for that pocket move to the upside. How much do you use unusual whales when you trade? What if you didn't exist? Your trades would rely TA only. I mainly focus on TA. I mainly focus on levels, charts, and so forth. And once I have my pattern, I have my levels that are breaking out, then I take a look at unusual whales to see use that as kind of confirmation. I don't let unusual whales kind of push me into a decision making on making a trade without looking at the levels. I work at my chart first. I look at my levels and patterns first. Then I look to unusual whales for confirmation of that. I've done this for about 8 years now, and for the last essentially 8 years, I didn't really use any flow to that extent. In the last 4 or 5 months, I've been using unusual whales more aggressively. But at the end of the day, levels, charts is what's important to me, and that what works for me, right? So that's what I kind of use. Then make sure you hit the like button. Yes. It's funny, it looks like the viewers count is kind of growing here towards the end half, and I guess people just want to kind of come in here and throw tickers out there. The first morning where we talk about the SPY, people don't really show up, but that's okay. Google day trade 5-minute levels. Google, I don't really see a day trade on Google. You really need to get back above that 2450, and then over that you could look for a push to the 2470 and then higher there on Google. Eric Evans, I am the purple pivot master. Yes, sir. All right, guys, it's 9 a.m. here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, every Thursday I do go live on YouTube for you guys to talk over market sentiments. We'll talk about the SPY and the Qs, go over some of the questions you guys may have about the tickers and so forth. So if you guys are still here, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. And remember that next Thursday I will be here live again with you guys going over everything market sentiment and so forth. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in.